Morning. It is 9 o'clock. I will call this meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners to order. The board reserves the right to enter into closed session any time as necessary to discuss the agenda item currently before the board. And the board also reserves the right to take agenda items out of order for the convenience of the parties involved. We will be meeting and following the Open Meeting Act as amended at or shortly after 9:15. We will also be meeting as the Lincoln County Board of Equalization, again abiding by the Open Meetings Act as amended. First order of business, we will open with prayer, and Commissioner Weems, would you lead us, please?
Please join me if you're so inclined. Heavenly Father, we come to you today to ask for your guidance as we do the duties required of us to serve our citizens of Lincoln County. Be with our law enforcement and first responders. Protect those people who protect our safety. Be also with our military, both here and abroad. Protect our many freedoms that we enjoy. Also, Lord, on a more personal note, we may request your hand in rain. Our county and our state dearly need moisture to resupply our pastures for our cattlemen and our crops. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes regarding the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners meeting held on March 17 of 2025.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion we approve the minutes of the March 17th, 2025 Commissioners meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sorry. I'm not having
Me.
Hughley?
Aye.
Bruns?
Aye.
Weems?
Aye.
Woodruff?
Aye.
Sorry, Angie. Sorry.
Next item is to consider the following. First would be the claims and the treasurer's receipts.
Be my motion to approve those claims and treasury receipts. And as always, we reserve the right to pull any that we have questions on.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Becky, I had a question that I probably just forgot, but on the trial balance, the Preservation Modernization Fund, 1150.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure I know what that is.
That is the registered deeds by statute for the last 10, 15 years. So much of their filing fee goes to this preservation fund by statute. So, but they're very limited to what they can use it on.
Government.
So they can't use it for salaries, they can't use it for, it's gotta be preservation.
Huh. Preserving employees isn't part of it, huh?
No,
Probably
So-
records and facilities, right?
what?
Records and facilities?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So she'll keep earning the money she's trying to spend, but it's kind of hard.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Okay, Weems,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right. Next item is to receive and order filed the fee report submitted by the county sheriff.
Mr. Vice Chair, I would move that we receive and order filed the fee report from the county sheriff in the amount of $12,845.83.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bruns,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Next item is to authorize the chair to sign a right-of-way permit application for Consolidated Companies, Inc.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning, Jason.
Jason.
Jason Schultz, Lincoln County Highway Superintendent. This permit is from Consolidated Companies for some fiber installation over in the east side of the county, a little piece on Smith Road, and then another section on Pawnee. and it's been reviewed by us. Fees are correct and no objections from roads.
It's out near Brady, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the depth on these, I had a locate done the other day, and I noticed that the depth isn't necessarily always what it's supposed to be on these projects. Is there a way we can, and we've talked about this probably ad nauseum, but it still concerns me that we don't have a more stringent way to make sure these things are getting buried to the depth we want and then know exactly where they're at, coordinates wise and so forth.
Well, we do have, number 12 in our permit is the reporting that they're required to do for as-built and the electronic versions of that in there, and we've been, really pushing on that and even going back on some of our old permits that, have been, the work has been completed, that we weren't notified of, but we are tracking down those folks as well to get those submitted to us as well. As far as the right when they do it, you know, we're not on site inspecting all that work. We do the pre-construction meetings with them. We talk about depths of bury and make sure they're aware of the 42 inches.
I'm not sure we shouldn't be, I guess, to be quite candid, because, you know, we had this tort claim come up a few weeks ago, and I think probably the conclusion will be that that was probably many years buried and many years of erosion is probably why that particular utility line was too shallow. But nevertheless, if we have a lot of liability of our own, and then landowners as well, I guess I would like to see us, if nothing else, at least arrange that when work begins that we do a spot check on these people when they're installing. And the other reason that comes to mind, Jason, is a lot of these utilities, they're contracting to a third party, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So they really don't, for the lack of a better phrase, they don't really have a lot of skin in the game. They just stick a knife in the ground and go. And they're done, and they're gone. You know, Great Plains, who serves my area, for example, I would have more faith in in-house construction than I would somebody they hired, because they can't do it all. So, anyway, I've made my point.
To add to that, you know, I guess I would suggest, and I totally concur with Kent, is that as part of our process, as part of our fee, and if we need to increase it, I don't have any problem, let's just increase it 50 or 100 bucks or whatever we have to do. But to make sure that before anybody buries anything, that they call you and give you 2, 3, 4 hours notice as to an exact time when they're gonna be there. Be there at 2:35, and that we have somebody out there to verify that it goes down in the ground correct. I would like that. And that way we know it's done correctly, rather than, I mean, I get Kent's point, because it is a kind of, you know, if you're a third party and there's nobody out there and you're in the middle of the boonies, you pulled it across because it's not your skin, you're not signing anything. So that would be my only thought, is that I would like to see us increase our fee, and for us to actually make sure that they're being done right as part of our inspection process, just down the road.
So what you guys are saying, if we're burying cable, then you guys would like to see us actually being there to watch the installation to make sure they're doing it correctly.
But to make sure that it's, and what I'm thinking about mostly is when we do something just shots across the road, because that doesn't take long. But if we're going down the road quite a while, it does take long. So we might think about that process or something, maybe 2 or 3 spot project as we go along, and adjust our fee accordingly. But my thinking is, when we go across, that doesn't usually take too long when we're going from one to the other. So I think it would be something to think about. Maybe, Chris, did you and I kind of worked on that?
Yeah, we worked on the application rewrite and adjusting the fees, but I don't know if it's something maybe the roads committee talks a little bit more about and just kind of bounces off ideas. I mean, that's,
Sure.
manpower wise, I understand that that's gonna be taxing on the staff that we have out there at the roads department. But I do concur that maybe a spot check, 1 or 2 spot checks for projects that you deem necessary would be in order, so.
And that's where the crux comes is, just checking going across the road. That's a short job, but if they've got a couple day job going down a road, that takes an awful lot of your people's time, and we would need to be compensated for that.
I think it's worth further discussion.
I think so, and I think it'd be worth discussing kind of the coverage we all feel is necessary, and then see how it fits into our current manpower, or even if it's something, we
At
need
least,
to.
at least a spot check, on a longer project, as these gentlemen are pointing out. Going across the road's one thing, going down the road 2 miles is quite another.
Yep.
Jason, I see that there's actually 2 different amounts here. That I do have a check for a total of, was this divided in 2 segments?
Yes, so on the sheets, they figured on the aerial maps, they figured each, section independent and then add them together, so it should be the total of the $512.43.
And that's what I have. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We do have a check in hand, gentlemen.
Mr. Vice Chair, I would make a motion that we authorize your signature and approve the right-of-way permit application for Consolidated Companies for their project out near Brady.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Wells,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Hughley,
All right.
Woodruff.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jason.
Jason.
Good. Okay, it is 9:15. We will recess as the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners and convene as the Lincoln County Board of Equalization, again abiding by the Open Meeting Act as amended, which is posted at the entrance to this room. First item on this agenda is approve the minutes regarding Lincoln County Board of Equalization meeting held on March 17, 2025.
Would be my motion to approve those minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting that were held the 17th of March, 2025.
I would second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right. Next item is certificates of correction and refund as submitted by the county assessor. County assessor indicates that there are none. Thank you.
Don't thank her yet.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to give her a
Yeah.
little thanks to start with.
Did you see this?
Yeah, I did. Oh, by the way, the wind's been blowing out your way some, hasn't it? Yeah. Okay, next item is motor vehicle tax exemption application submitted by the county treasurer.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the application by the American National Red Cross for a Toyota RAV. It's used for transportation of employees and supplies for the blood drive. It's recommended for approval by Sherry Newton, the county treasurer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley.
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right. Okay, next item on this agenda is exemption applications, Form 451NF for Arbor Fin Investment LLC,
24th.
doing business as Sutherland Propco LLC, Arbor Fin Investment LLC, doing business as Centennial Propco LLC, and Heritage of North Platte Inc., doing business as Linden Court, as submitted by the county assessor.
Good morning, Julie Stinger, Lincoln County Assessor. What you have before you on the nursing home ones, the 451 NF, is a new exemption application this year that was, new legislation came out to allow a for-profit nursing home or assisted living facility to apply for a permissive exemption based on, there's a calculation form on the number, a percentage of the beds that they use throughout the year for Medicaid patients. So they have to provide information to the assessor's office as far as what they have done for the number of Medicaid beds. So there's specific form and calculations that they use to do that. So when that information is provided to me, like I said, you can kind of see on the front, the calculations over the last 3 years are pretty self-explanatory. It's basically prefigured by the time I get it. So I just take the percentage that they qualify for times the valuation that they have on it, and then they get a partial permissive exemption based on this new form 451 NF. And these are the three. I guess I was sorting my stuff, Jerry. I didn't realize. Did you read all three of them in all at the same time? Because they're basically all the
Yes, I did.
same type of application. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what these three applications are, is for that new. The nonprofit ones have always been able to file for a permissive exemption, but this year allows the for-profit ones to apply based on the Medicaid.
So I have two here for Arbor Fin Investment and one for Heritage of North Platte, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep. One of the Arbor Fins is in Sutherland, which I think you read that into.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have three different separate applications here before us for
Three
partial.
separate parcels.
And each one has a different percentage that you have recommended for approval, correct?
Correct. Based on the information that they provided to me, yes.
Do those need to be read in separately? Or identified as percentages on each parcel, read in once, or? Three right here.
I would almost do separately and read into the record the parcel ID and the lot description like we normally do with any kind of exemptions on
Okay.
real State.
Where is the,
On the right-hand
Where's the
corner,
lot?
about 3 lines down is the
oh, I got it,
parcel
okay,
number.
I got the parcel number here.
And
Perfect,
then
good idea.
there's a legal description a little bit further below that, Jerry, just the
Okay, I
next
got it.
line down,
I
actually.
got it.
So all like the minutes that were due to go legal.
Just the parcel number?
Just the parcel number. Okay.
They can find the rest of that.
Okay.
I guess another thing I need to add to this as well. This form does include their personal property. It's the real estate and the personal property. So this would, and all 3 of them do have personal property schedules. So that calculation is also figured on the personal property that they own.
Same percentage?
Same percentage,
Okay.
correct. Now, if you need the personal property schedule number, I have those as well for each individual one. It's I'm sure it's probably not on that form because this is what they provided to me. And it only has the real estate parcel ID number. Actually, I think I did, I guess on my recommendation below, I put personal property schedule number. I did
Yes,
put that.
okay, I see.
That's
Yep.
helpful. Thank you.
So that is on there, sorry.
Okay, yeah, they're all there.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. Who wants to
You
go
want to flip?
first?
I'm gonna start to, actually, on protest form number 451 NF,
Exemption form, Joe, not protest.
exemption application, it's the first time,
Yep.
for 451 NF for Arbor Fin Investment LLC. I'm going to identify it by a parcel number, and that is parcel number 8982500. That is the real estate portion. And also on the personal property portion, it is on Schedule 16059. It would be my motion that we approve a 65% exemption as allowed by law and recommended by the Lincoln County Assessor for this property.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
This is the original.
I have exemption application form 451 NF for Arbor Fin Investments LLC. Again, this parcel number would be 0011583325. And the personal property schedule is identified as 16058. This has been reviewed by Julie Stenger, and she's recommending a 56% exemption approval on this on these parcels. It'd be my motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Weems,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
And Mr. Vice Chair, I have an exemption application 451 NF from Heritage of North Platte Incorporated on parcel ID 23805.25 for a 28% exemption on the real estate and a 28% exemption on personal property, schedule number 1965. It's been reviewed and recommended for approval by the County Assessor, Julie Stanger. It would be my motion that we align with that recommendation for this application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just that I'm really glad that this legislation went through and was passed because we need the assisted, skilled, and nursing facilities throughout rural
They need-
Nebraska.
They need to stay functional.
Yes.
Absolutely. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bruns,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
And we need to actually write down the percentage that we're,
Yes.
okay.
And check the approved box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole new form with the percentage in there, isn't it? Yeah. Great job. Thank you for your efforts on that. Okay, next item before the, have we got those? Yeah, we're wrapping those up. Okay, next item on this agenda is exemption applications, Form 451 from West Central District Health Department, Inc., and North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation doing business as Great Plains Health, 8 locations, as submitted by the county assessor. Okay, Julie, you have this quite a,
I think we'll address probably the West Central District Health one first. This is a brand-new application on this building. They purchased it in late October. I think it was an old chiropractic building. And since it was purchased so late in the year, I believe they were unaware that they needed to reapply for a brand-new permissive exemption. They weren't able to apply before because the building they worked out of was a leased building you have to own. So since they own it, they did get in and get it filed in February, or let's see, in January, right at the end of January. And since it missed the December 31st filing deadline, they will have a 100% or $100 late filing penalty. Even though I have approved them for the 100% exemption, just for the fact that they missed that filing deadline, they'll have that $100 late filing penalty, which they are aware of. But like I said, it is still my recommendation to approve the exemption for their new building.
This has been before us, before with giving you permission to actually go ahead and review it.
Since it was late, yes,
Yeah.
she had to write a letter to you explaining why they were late, and then, yep, that gave me permission to do my approval or denial.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the exemption application 451 by West Central District Health Department Incorporated. It is for a building that is Good Shepherd First Replat of Sears Second Centennial Edition, Block 3, Lot 1, Block 1, for a exemption as recommended by the county assessor, and that includes a $100 late filing fee for this property.
For the record, I don't know if you read it, Joe, but the parcel number is 0017904.50.
I did not, but thank you.
Okay.
Parcel number
That way Becky has it.
0017904.50. Thank you.
Yep.
I will second your motion. Full disclosure, I now serve on this board. I was aware that this was going to come before us. And to reiterate Julie's comment, they did not realize that because they've always leased a building, so they didn't have any idea what they were doing.
the learning curve.
Right.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll
I'm
call.
sorry, they were talking to me and I did not catch. I was still on the.
Joe and Kat.
Joe,
Oh,
Kat.
okay, motion made Hughley,
Yes.
second,
Second.
okay, Hughley,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the second half of that agenda item is the exemption
The hospital.
by the Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation doing business Great Plains Health, 8 locations as submitted by the county assessor. Now, this looks to be a fairly significant amount of real property, is that correct?
They're on, several parcels. I guess I didn't actually count how many there were. 8 of them. A couple of them might be brand new, first time filing for this year. Several of them are probably applications that they filed on last year, but they were denied because I didn't feel they met the definition of what a hospital was, and they did not provide any other information showing or providing where they would qualify under the charitable status.
Okay, and it was denied last year. What was the response? What was the outcome?
They have filed a Turk. We have all these cases that we haven't had a hearing date set, not that I'm aware of. Tyler hasn't gotten one either. So we do have quite a few of all of the denied exemptions are been filed to Turk by the hospital.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if it would be easier, and during our discussion here, would it be easier for just one person maybe to read these into the file, one at a time, or how would you like to do this? If you want me to kind of send them around like we have before, and I believe they're all denials, all the recommendations. If I read them in, I think I would, I'm going to read them, or someone should read them in, I believe, Tyler, separately, so that we can take an action on each one of them separately would be, I think, the way to do it.
That's gonna make for the cleanest record, but I don't suspect it's gonna change whether you do all of them at once or individual, but.
This way, I think it'd be better if we just read them individually, if that's okay.
There's 8 of them. We get through it fairly.
Would it be okay if I read them individually, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
I'm the vice chairman, by the way.
Oh, well, today you're Mr. Chairman.
That's right, that's right,
All
I
these
am.
have like a street address on there.
Just read the parcel IDs.
Showing the par 601 West Leota. I mean, it kind of tells where they're at too. You have the parcel number too.
I'm gonna,
I
first,
would- Joe, just pointing out there is one that's Mid-Nebraska Medical Ventures LLC.
and thank you, Chris, I appreciate that, and I think that's important we mention that, and I'll try to,
So that's a separate.
mention that one separately, okay? Thank you. Okay, would be my motion that Form 451 exemption application for the North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation on parcel number 000-176-7240, that being Great Plains Health for Great Plains Health Sports Medicine Administrative Subdivision. I'm not going to read that. It covers under the parcel number. They were requesting exemption. That exemption is denied from the assessor's office, from Julie Stinger. It says does not meet the definition of hospital, not enough information provided to prove charitable status. I might note that these are pending the last year's applications, still pending a Turk hearing, if I'm not mistaken. It would be my motion that we deny on this application.
Can I ask, what parcel number was that again, Joe?
Parcel number 000-176-7240.
Okay.
220 West Leota.
And just, I guess, if you guys want to know, it would be the urgent care building.
Say again?
It's the urgent care building.
220 West Leota.
This is where the
But
urgent
does,
care,
oh, are you just saying that for our reference?
yeah, just
Oh,
so you know
okay.
what building you're
Oh,
denying.
okay,
It's
gotcha.
Urgent care, and I think the other half of it is a medical supply
Gotcha.
place now.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just, Commissioner Hughley said it was Great Plains Health, just clarifying that the application is from the North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation, just for clarity
Okay.
of the record.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley.
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right.
Be my motion that on a Form 451 exemption application from North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation, parcel number 000-1158340. Okay, now, just tell me, where you read about the, where the form was at, okay, this let's see, myself.
500 West Leota.
Which one?
500 West Leota.
Right, but I mean, that doesn't tell us necessarily anything other than, I mean, I see where Centennial subdivision, she explained what the building was before. This building is,
The general surgery and pain management building
Okay.
that's south of the hospital,
Thank
sits
you.
south over there.
all right. That's what the building is used for. It's recommended for denial from the assessor's office. Does not meet the definition of a hospital. Not enough information to prove charitable status. Again, was this one pending a Turk hearing from last year?
Yes.
That's my motion to deny.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just clarifying, the definition that we're utilizing is from state statute, correct?
Yes, would you like me to read it into record?
I would.
State statute 71-419, hospital defined. A hospital means a facility where diagnosis, treatment, medical care, obstetrical care, nursing care, or related services are provided on an outpatient basis or an inpatient basis for a period of more than 24 consecutive hours to persons who have an illness, injury, or deformity, or to aged or infirm persons requiring or receiving convalescent care. Hospitals include a facility or part of a facility which provides space for a general acute hospital, a rehabilitation hospital, a long-term care hospital, a critical access hospital, or a psychiatric or mental hospital. Hospital does not include a healthcare practitioner facility in which persons do not receive care or treatment for a period of more than 24 consecutive hours. So I guess that is where I am coming from when I say it does not meet the definition of a hospital. Some of these buildings, the patient is not in there getting care for more than the 24-hour period.
But those that they are, like the main.
The main
camp,
hospital,
yeah.
yes, is.
Right.
Yep,
Okay, thank you for reading that into the record.
yep. Thank you for asking.
Okay, exemption application,
We didn't vote on that.
sorry, I wrote, thank you.
That's right. we
That was
did
just
not.
discussion,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's fine. That's my fault.
Ready?
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
You know, one other thing I just happen to think, is there anybody here from North Platte Hospital Corporation? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if there was something that'd be said. Exemption application 451 for North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation. It is parcel number 000370510. Application has been denied. The recommendation from the assessor's office does not meet the definition of hospital, not enough information provided to prove a charitable status. It would be my motion that we deny based on that information.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
And this is identified as property at 806 South Maple?
It is the eye care specialist,
Yeah, at
Building.
806 South Maple.
yes.
Okay.
Right across the street from Maple Park Dental.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
Exemption application form 451 from North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation on parcel number 000115832. It is recommended from the assessor's office this application be denied as it does not meet the definition of a hospital. Not enough information provided to prove that it is a hospital. It'd be my motion that we deny based on that information.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
This is the rheumatology building that is in the same building, part of the, one half of the building where Dr. Betcher's dental office is, south across the street from the hospital as well. And it was
Otherwise-
denied last year. and is
Otherwise,
in
street
front of
address
Turk.
is 516 West Leota.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
protest number, or exemption application Form 451 from North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation. That parcel number for this property is 000-231-0400. It is recommended from the assessor's office this property be denied the exemption, as it does not meet the definition of a hospital and not enough information provided on the variable or the approved charitable purposes. I believe the property is 625 West William, and would be my motion that we deny based on the above information.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is the big new building north of the hospital that houses the internal medicine offices and palliative care. It was denied last year as well, and in front of Turk,
North of the hospital?
the new big four-story.
Practitioner's office.
Beautiful building.
Yes, it is. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley,
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
Exemption application number 451 from the North Platte Hospital, North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation on a parcel number 000-176-7250. This property is recommended for denial from the county assessor, as it does not meet the definition of a hospital, not enough information provided to prove charitable status. Be my motion that we deny based on the above information.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is the first time they're filed on this building. This is the great big new sports medicine and physical therapy building that they're building.
Under construction?
Yeah, right along,
This street address is 120 West Leota.
yeah, on the north side of the.
Did they apply for a parcel on that?
For this year?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's not finished. They're not in it, using it.
Yeah.
But they own the property of the building.
They own it and they're in the process of doing it. I mean, that
Right,
gives
but
them
on
the
most things,
ability to
we would only give a parcel anyway if it's not completed. So that was my reason if they asked for a parcel.
apply. Yeah, no, they did not.
Okay.
So this one is not in front of Turk because this is the first time it has been applied on.
Okay.
I'm sure it will be.
I'm sure it will be.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley,
Aye.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye.
Exemption application 451 from the North Platte, Nebraska Hospital Corporation on a parcel number 000-244-0000, also known as 801 William Avenue. It's recommended for denial from the county assessor based on definition of a hospital. It doesn't give enough information to prove its charitable status. It would be my motion that we deny based on that information.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is the ear, nose, and throat clinic. And it was denied last year and is in front of Turk. Ask for a partial exemption. 64% is used by the hospital and the other 36% is an independent for-profit group. Like I said, I did go ahead and deny the whole thing. It was, I do believe this one was in front of Turk as well. It was denied last year.
Does this building, is it occupied by a diagnostic lab and doctor's offices or not?
Yes, and, you know, they have a pathology building in there. The Great Plains Health offices are in there, but upstairs and I think on the other side, there's other regular doctor's offices.
No overnight beds.
No overnight beds that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Weems,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, for your work on that.
Thank you guys for your support.
You betcha. Any other business to come before the Lincoln County Board of Equalization? With that, at 9:46, we will adjourn as the Lincoln County Board of Equalization and reconvene as the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. Okay, next item on this agenda is public hearing on a Class C liquor license for Bar 304 LLC located at Harbor Lights, 711 East North Lake Road, North Platte, Nebraska. How do I say about this public? Do I open it? Okay, so at 9:47, we will open this public hearing. I see that Mr. Hirschfeld is with us. Would you please state your name and sign in for us, please, sir?
Alan Hirschfeld.
You can, I'll bet.
Thank you, Ken.
I have another one, you can just leave it there, Al.
Thank you. Okay, there it is.
Okay, great, perfect.
What if it's good?
Okay, we've opened the public hearing, and I guess you are first on the docket, sir.
We're here applying for the Class C liquor license. This is we're basically taking the liquor sales in-house at Harbor Lights, where previously we used CC Catering for that service. And just for about a year, a little bit short of a year. And that's what's happening here.
And you have other liquor licenses in the county, correct?
We do. Venue 304 has, which also will be serviced by Bar 304.
Okay, super.
Any other questions?
I have none. You have any questions for Mr. Hirschfeld?
Well, he's got adult supervision. Margot signed it, so.
That is two adult.
I wonder if that's where the Scablands Avisette came from too. Sorry, I had to.
She couldn't be here, so she sent me.
So she sent you.
Okay,
I don't have any questions. I don't
any
believe.
questions from the board? Thank you for your information. Anybody else in the audience wish to speak at this public hearing? We'll keep that open for just a short while in case somebody wishes to speak in regards to this public hearing on the Class C liquor license for Bar 304 LLC located at Harbor Lights, 711 East North Lake Road, North Platte, Nebraska. Anyone else wish to speak at this public hearing? Okay, so at 9:49, I will close the public hearing. Our next, the continuing of this particular item is consider recommendation to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission.
Mr. Chairman, it would be my motion that we make a positive recommendation to the Nebraska Liquor Control on the Class C liquor license for Bar 304 LLC located at Harbor Lights, 711 East North Lake Road, North Platte, Nebraska, their application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just that, from my experience, you do a really good job at your other venue. And that speaks volumes in my motion and my vote here today, so.
Appreciate that.
I would concur with that. Very well run professional establishment. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bruns,
Aye.
Weems,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Woodruff.
All right, thank you, Alan.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Two.
Okay, next agenda item is an annual report for Visit North Platte by Lisa Burke,
Alan.
Executive Director.
That's all right. He can't pay that online, but we'll tell him. It's a new one.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all right.
Becky was trying to get his attention.
I'll let you pass those out while I wake this up and hope that it goes back on.
Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're making an obstacle course for you. I'll just set the one over there. Yeah, she'll be back later. Thank you. Becky, payroll.
Thank you.
No go?
Oh, it was, and then when I kicked it
That's
to.
because the IT guy left the room.
No kidding, when I kicked it to open it up, it didn't.
You click on that first, Pam.
It just says it's not responding, so it's thinking, it's Monday. Of course.
Default indicator for most things on the not responding.
Yes, not responding. I don't want to talk to you today. Ugh.
So before we get started, I take it you have some crane tours underway?
We do. The Dusty Trails started his annual Sandhill Crane Tours 2 weeks ago. And last week we got reports from the Grand Island area that there's a record-setting count so far this year. They had 750,000 cranes between Grand Island and Carnegie, and we get, it's arguable how many we get. They think we only have 100,000, and I think there's more than that.
Yeah, the fields are full.
counting the same bird twice.
No,
So I actually
excuse me.
was speaking with Fish and Wildlife and got like 20 years worth of data on
Yes.
migratory birds.
Did you?
And they say that there is a huge percentage of the migratory birds that land here in
Yes.
Lincoln County.
Yes, all kinds, not just the cranes, all kinds.
But
There's-
they were
yes.
specifically, yeah, they gave me data on all the
All of them.
migratory, but
Well, you need to
Sandhill
share that.
cranes, we have a huge percentage
Yes.
that land here at the confluence.
I think it was 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, they flew down through here when they do a, Crane Trust does a flyover once a week, and they did one route through, and they, less than 100,000 is what they said, and I'm like, oh, beans. How far did you go? Just like to the edge of North Platte?
Yeah, we have cranes at my house, 20 miles north.
Yes, yeah, and south, and
Tell them
they're-
slow that plane down next time they count here
I
in
know.
Lincoln County.
And that there's, even north of Sutherland, they're thick. We took media tours out there
Monday night, we did an evening crane tour, which if you guys have never done a tour a tour where they come in and roost at night, you really, really need to. It's a whole different experience than watching them out in the fields. And then on Tuesday, we did a field tour out on Platte Valley Road. Thank you for grading the roads, by the way. It's much nicer in a school bus. And they're really thick out there. And our last stop, they saw a mama cow try to get a baby calf up, and they were that just crescendoed the whole event to see a new life being born. And
It's an amazing treasure that we have here in Lincoln County when it
Yes.
comes to our environmental and wildlife
Yeah.
resources. So.
for sure.
And the crescendo for me was last week when I was out fixing fence. I saw whooping cranes.
Did you?
Over. That was amazing.
Yeah, cool.
Got data on whooping cranes too.
Yeah, you
That
need to
was
share
ama-
that.
That was amazing.
Commissioner
Anyway,
Bruns, not be so selfish with that information. Share
It's
it.
gonna go probably into our comp plan,
Into what?
our comprehensive land use plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
It'll be available.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Well, thank you all for letting us present today. With me, I have our new board chairman, Tom Wolfgang, and I'm Lisa Burke, the executive director of Visit North Platte. And we're here to talk about what the numbers, how things ended up with in 2024. We're just gonna do it the old-fashioned way, apparently. There we go. So, our board consists of some new voting members since we split away from the county. Jerry Woodruff is your representative on the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. He does a good job. He shows up every day, every meeting.
somebody's got to test the donuts.
Yep, somebody's got to make them happen.
That's right.
And Pete Volz is representative for the city council. Our lodging property members, Teresa Riley, she's the newest one from the La Quinta, and Cody Odell, who's kind of general manager over the Keenan properties. Our at-large board members are Amy Johnson, Lori Bergstrom, and of course Tom Wolfgang. And then we've added a non-voting liaison with Gary Pearson from the chamber. And I can tell you that this board is really great to work with. It's nice to have a representative from the county and the city, so we know what's working, and we're working collaboratively with both organizations, and things are going really, really smooth.
Yeah, I think since we've split from the county, there have been some positive adjustments with that, along with the expansion of the board. As it is, there's a lot more county input from all around the county with the voting and non-voting members. And it's allowed us to really be dialed in and be very focused on some of the opportunities that are here in Lincoln County as far as tourism goes. We've really started to focus in on some of the sporting events that have been available to us that can bring in some extra tourism dollars to Lincoln County. And I will point out that in 2025, we do have approximately 11 new sporting events slated for that year, and the projected amount of sporting tourism spending comes to $3.5 million. So we're excited about some of the new sporting events that have taken place, some that we've gone after in the past and some that are brand new to us, some new sporting events that, the lacrosse sporting events and that kind of thing, things that we haven't really looked at before, but have been brought to us by our the people that we've incorporated to help us get those things going. So it's exciting to see what's going on in North Platte and the expansion of the sporting and tourism events, plus the new stuff that's coming our way. So.
All right, we're going to recap a little bit with our Lincoln County yearly lodging tax. We were down just 1.89% over 2023. A lot of that is just the economy. People were hesitant to travel, election year, all that fun stuff. Economy has really affected the tourism industry. This is our yearly lodging tax comparison report. The orange line that you see is last year's, where we were per each month. You'll see 4 record months there. January, we set an all-time record high.
It's not one to advance on you, so,
Oh, it is not. It's not waking up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. You can see my slide. Well,
guess we just have to go. I provided the media with your slides, so.
okay.
So she
You,
was,
yes, you have the slides in front of you, so. I'll just look over Tom's shoulder real quick. So, yeah. Yep, June was a record month two for us in Lincoln County, and September. But the economy showed how we struggled a little bit. But the winter time things that we're working on in October coming up in 2025, you'll see that those will hopefully bump up. On slide 5 is the Dean Runyon economic impact. We pay to have them do a deep dive study for us every other year, and they did it in 2023 for us. They showed that overall tourism economic impact is $121 million in 2023. They showed a slight 1.7 increase over 2022 in those dollars. And then on slide 6, we do a little bit of deep dive into that economic impact. There's 1,530 people in Lincoln County that are employed in the tourism industry. That's directly employed, so they're either employed by a hotel, restaurant, an attraction. They earn $34.3 million a year. The tax revenue that's generated to Lincoln County for tourism is $10.5 million. Your next slide just goes into kind of the type of people who travel here and the numbers. They are telling us that 2.3 people travel when they travel in Lincoln County. They spend 2 nights and they spend $381 a day. In 2023, there was 597,900 people that spent the night in Lincoln County. In 2023, we finished our updating our website. We have a new website that's built just for destination marketing organizations, and it has driven quite a few impressions and visions or sessions about what we're pushing to offer. In 2024, the new unique users to our website were 166,000. That's up about 30,000 over what it was last year. And then our sessions, there's 214,000 sessions, which is up about 30 as well. One of the biggest assets to me for that website is that calendar of events, and that's on your slide 10. just a quick snapshot of what that looks like. Every event that we have in Lincoln County is put on that calendar, and it has pictures, which speaks a lot for an event, if you can kind of see what it is and tell a little story about it. So that is a very pretty easy navigatable option for visitors as they're looking for things to do. We also do a lot of driving local people to our calendar of events, because the more knowledgeable they are about what's happening in our community, hopefully they'll share that with our visitors. And that they get to go and do things too. One of the things that frustrates me is when people say there's nothing to do in Lincoln County. All you have to do is pull up our calendar of events, and you can definitely think that there is a lot to do in our community. So our calendar events was just a tick lower, about 800 less in 2024 than 2023. Then we move on to our social media followers. This is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're up just a little bit in that at 20,343. The next statistic is our kiosks. We have 13 kiosks around the community. 2 of them are at attractions that are open all year round, the Golden Spike and the Fort Cody Trading Post. The other ones are at the hotels, and they drive visitors to, our calendar of events and things to do. The hours that are spent on that kiosk average to be an employee that works 26 hours a week. So it is a very valuable tool for us. Then the next slide, number 14, is our brochures and visitors that come in the visitor center. We track, we count people who come in, and then we put brochures outside. We put our local brochure maps, the attractions that are open at that time of year, and we track that as well. So, and that one is down just a tick as well. Thank you.
If I might add, Lisa,
Yes.
Cody and Teresa both make a point of emphasizing that at their facilities, they have posters and such that when
Yep.
folks come into their hotels to check in, they can see this attraction is going on, or
Right.
that one is.
Yeah.
Cody makes a good point that that's one way that they can help.
And those,
Make people
those
aware.
brochures and information are also shared in several businesses throughout the
Right.
community also. They can be picked up at the airport, in all the Quick Stop stores,
Yep.
and, in several other locations, so that information is out there for
Yeah,
sure.
yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have about 24 racks around the community, Lincoln County. There's one in Maxwell, in the Quick Stops and gas stations, and the DNN Event Center that have all of our brochures in them, and the state tourism brochures as well, and Western Nebraska driving people. One of the things that I get asked a lot about is that on your slide 15 is a billboard that was in Lincoln, downtown Lincoln, and unfortunately it blew away 2 weeks ago. But we've lived off of that thing for 3 years for free.
Rent-free.
Rent-free. So just in 2024, we had almost 1,400 phone calls, and it has a local 402 phone number, and our Buffalo Bill just tells them all the fun things to do in Lincoln County. So it was definitely well worth it, and I jab my peer in Lincoln County all the time about our billboard working well for us there. So number 16 is our marketing results for 2024. We had our marketing is very diverse. We do TV advertising, billboards, print, social media, and Google ads. And I won't bore you with each individual one of them, but our total marketing impressions for 2024 were 11,900,000. And that cost us $7.83 per thousand. So we got a really good results out of marketing.
That's fantastic.
Yes, very, very good. Then our promotional fund grants in 2024, we had 40 applications, and our promotional grants range from people asking for money to help them reprint their brochures. For instance, the Lincoln County Historical Museum, we help him print his brochures. Once in a while, he'll redo a website. We also help him distribute brochures across the state. We help sporting events with helping to pay for referees, those type of things. And we give out, we awarded $157,642 to local entities that are doing something to bring tourism into our community. And those applicants, Sutherland Rodeo applies for funds and they receive funds, Brady Days, almost all of our little small villages apply for funds because they all have a festival, except for Hershey, and Tom and I talk about them all the time. You don't know what the heck is going on there. And then improvement fund grants, we do our yearly improvement fund grants in August of every year. In the past 2 years, we've given out $2.7 million worth of funds in projects that amount to $48 million. So we had, and that's a pretty diverse group as well. And the Lincoln County Historical Museum receives funds every year that they apply. They receive those dollars. Legion Baseball, 308 BMX, and of course the big one that we all are aware of is the rec center with the city of North Platte. So the next slides are kind of numbers, and this is just, I wanted to go through all the new sporting events that we have coming up in 2025. Like Tom said, there's 13 on this list. 11 of them are brand new. 2 of them are new and expanded events. And we have, because we don't have the convention center facilities here in Lincoln County, we have kind of doubled down on sports tourism, and it is paying off. So we have a U.S. Bowling Congress. They're in town. They were in town this last weekend, and this coming weekend is a youth bowling tournament. Each weekend that they are here, they're going to approximately drop $55,000 in our community. The next one up is a Flat Rock Youth Baseball Tournament. This brings people from Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, and Wyoming. This tournament is a 3-day tournament. They will bring $741,000 to our community in one tournament, one weekend. Baseball, young little ones. They are putting on a new spring baseball youth tournament. This one is brand new. They've already got it full. It's already full with 60 teams in the same surrounding states. $664,000 into our community for that weekend. Swinging Salutes Fast Pitch Baseball. This used to be the Gail Wicks softball tournament they ran during Nebraska Land Days, and we've kind of worked with them a little bit to move that out of Nebraska Land Days. That's not a time where we need a lot of room nights, so they've shifted that to be in April. That one, or excuse me, in May, and that one is a $486,000 economic impact. The Buffalo Bill Fast Pitch Tournament, usually during Nebraska Land Days, they've moved it to the first part of June to free up those rooms for Nebraska Land Days. Another $482,000 economic impact. A brand new one that's new to our community is American Stock Dog Registry. This is where they do those dog trials where they weave through obstacles and go over bridges and do all those fun things. They are going to be in our community in July from the 11th to the 13th, bringing in about $133,000 of economic impact. A new one for August is a United Youth Tackle Football Tournament. They'll be bringing in 30 teams from across the country. We're expecting that one to do $267,000 in economic impact. We have pickleball tournaments to utilize our new pickleball facility. We have the Professional Pickleball Association that's coming in September. That one, they expect to bring about 200 pickleball players, $71,000 of economic impact. We're also working with some JUCO college teams and NCAA softball teams to put on a tournament, in September. A girls softball tournament, college softball tournament. That one is $141,000. Will be a men's lacrosse association tournament at the high school. We've got some great partners in our community that see that vision of how we can grow sports tourism and bring in a lot of spending to our community by using facilities that maybe aren't busy when we can use them. So that one is in October on an off weekend of North Platte football being home. That one is a men's lacrosse, and that one's $220,000. And for that weekend, there's a U.S. Senior Pickleball Tournament in October, $71,000, and then a women's lacrosse later in October, and that one's $220,000, and those are college lacrosse teams as well. So overall, like Tom mentioned, just those events right there is $3.5 million. That is all new money coming into our community. So we're excited about sports working well for Visit North Platte. That was kind of long, sorry. Did you guys have any
Where do you have to
questions?
go to find lacrosse players?
There is actually some in Alliance, and it's very big in Omaha and Lincoln and Colorado.
Very.
Yeah, Colorado.
Huge.
Colorado.
Yeah. These are college teams though.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I think there's Midlands, there's one in Lincoln.
So the data that you're getting projected for these sports events, is that something that Dean Runyon study did, or?
No, it is, we work with another group that does economic impact for sporting events.
Okay.
We plug in all of our statistics, what our average room rate is for that time of year, our taxes, and then the spending for our community.
Do you have that kind of data on other events that are going on in the community?
Yes.
Like for instance, the crane viewing, that's a couple
Say that
week-
one more time.
The crane viewing, like a couple week
Yes, yes.
endeavor. I'm
That-
just curious, like, what's the economic impact on?
I ran the numbers on the cranes in 2023, and that one's minimum $500,000 for those 3 weeks that Dusty Trails does tours. And that's just based on his sales that I can document, because
It's not hotel stays or anything?
well, it
Or
is on
is it
hotel stays
projections?
with what he's selling.
Okay.
But there's so many people that come in that stay longer that I can't track. We can guess, but, they're staying here all week.
Right, they
and
do
doing-
their tours on their own. They're
Yes.
not
Yeah.
aligned with Dusty Trails. so-
Well, they'll do them
but
all.
They're still spending
Yeah.
money in the community. so-
They do everything, and then they'll go out on their own and as well, so. And we've got, the Lincoln County Historical Museum, is staying open during this time. He's open special during the crane season, so they need things to do besides just the cranes, If they're just doing Dusty's tours, then there's a lag in the afternoon where there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
So, they have, the museum's open, the Prairie Arts Center does some art dedicated to the cranes and birding, and of course, the Golden Spike Tower is open and they sell crane t-shirts, so they all have to go out there and get a swag for cranes. So we do a really good marketing and working together to make sure everybody knows what's open and what's happening for them while they're here.
Yeah, they were here a month ago.
Yeah.
Brought that up, that they were coordinating to stay open during the crane watch.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a really good thing.
Yes, it is, and it took a lot of convincing, and I told him, you don't need to be open all day, just a little bit, but I think it's working for them. It's worth it anyway for them. For 4 hours a day, I think they're seeing some benefit for that.
Well, brick and mortar donations to them, I think is really a very important thing in the
Yes.
community. That really is a gem.
Yes,
So,
for sure.
And
I'm
he
glad to
is,
see you, I'm glad to see your group continue to recognize that and support it.
that facility is a gem, and so is the curator.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jim does a magnificent job.
he does.
We work with Jim on group tours, bus group tours. I haven't talked to you guys it's been a while since I've talked to you about that, but we have, we do coordinate with, we bring in Bruce, Bruce is gone, Buffalo Bill.
Bruce Richmond.
There you go.
Richmond.
Bruce Richmond and Dusty Trails and Rick Wyndham. And we do a Ride with the Wild Bunch event there at the museum. So Dusty will fight Buffalo Bill and steal Louisa and kidnap Louisa. And they do a gun action shoot. And Rick cooks. But down there in that village area, that's where we do all that. And put Dusty in the jail and all that. They have lots of fun, so. But that is the best place for that experience because it's like you're walking down the street of the Wild West.
Pretty neat.
So it is very neat, so we appreciate all he does and he does a great job,
Yeah.
so.
Any questions for Lisa or Tom while we're here?
Yeah, just a quick one, and it's kind of anecdotal. So you're doubling down on the sports stuff, which I like. If there was one thing that Lincoln County could use to improve tourism, what would that be in your
A
opinion?
meeting facility. We are losing a lot of meeting business because they are required to rotate around the state. And we don't want anything the size of what Kearney has.
Units,
You know,
yeah.
we can't compete with that, but, you know, a 400-seat facility we really need that, really need it. Locally and for meetings and conventions. We pass up so many and monthly, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lisa and Tom? Thank you very much for
Yes.
your efforts, for your presentation, but also for your efforts in regards to tourism in all of Lincoln County.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to serve on your board.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he just said that because of the donuts.
And the donuts aren't too bad either.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Okay, our next agenda item is to discuss and consider action on an application by Orland and Nancy Fallhaber and Kim Riley for Haley Hills Administrative Subdivision on property located on North Lake Road in a C1 commercial district on property described as lots 14 and 15, Haley Hills Subdivision, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Yes.
Good morning. Judy Clark, Lincoln County Planning and Zoning Administrator. So what you have in front of you is a preliminary and a final plat. The subdivision will reconfigure an existing lot line between the two existing lots. Planning staff has no objection to the subdivision. The subdivision is in conformance with the Lincoln County Comprehensive Plan and zoning regulations. If you look on the preliminary plat, it's the only thing they're doing is moving that lot line. You can see the lot line between the two parcels. You can see where the proposed lot or the current lot line is and the new proposed lot line is just moving further to the north. That's all they're doing, very simple,
Just a 7 foot.
just a 7-foot move of the
Shift of the
line to the
line.
north. Yep.
Mr. Vice Chairman, it would be my motion to approve the application by Orland and Nancy Fallhaber and Kim Riley. Holly Hills Administrative Subdivision on property located at North Lake Road in a C1 commercial district on property described as lots 14 and 15, Holly Hills Subdivision, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Identifying that this will reconfigure an existing lot line between the two lots. Be my motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Weeds,
Aye.
Hughley,
Aye.
Bruns,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is to discuss and consider outstanding costs for emergency sirens, maintenance, and repairs. Mr. Myers, would you kindly come forward?
Well, speak to it as well. This is from the committee.
Okay. Yes.
So Mr. Vice Chair asked for this to be put on the agenda. Commissioner Hughley and I met with city representatives this last week. Had a very, in my opinion, a productive, and I'm sure that Commissioner Hughley would concur with that, a very productive meeting with city representatives and as well as our Deputy County Attorney, Tyler Volkmer. This was before us a few weeks ago now, a couple weeks ago, regarding the emergency sirens both in the city of North Platte and then a few of them that are out in the county. Essentially what came out of our discussions, I think we had a little bit of confusion on the proposal / invoice and when work was done and when it was okayed. But nevertheless, that work has been authorized and commenced, and I believe it is finished. Is that correct, Commissioner Hughley? That's what you got out of it?
My understanding.
Yeah. And that determination was done based on precedent that has been established in years past, right, wrong, or indifferent. In that meeting, we determined that we do need to have further conversation on our interlocal agreements with regard to maintenance of these assets moving forward. But we did want to bring this forward for consideration by the board to go ahead and get these paid. Commissioner Hughley, did you have anything to add?
No, what's been done has been done. It's city acted on in good faith, had the work done, and we, in good faith, I think, should pay our portion of what's been done to point and go from here forward with a new agreement that we can all sit down and discuss further.
Okay, is that claim,
I don't have the claim, no. I don't know if Joanna put one in, I don't know.
I'll make sure that we get one in then.
Yeah.
Because I know that's all we were waiting on was just all the legality stuff.
Historically, the city and the county have split those costs. It came to light 50-50. And I know that it was roughly $25,000 for the repairs. Some additional work was done at no cost regarding controls for the sirens. So I think that we should probably, again, as Commissioner Hughley said, that work was done in good faith. I think that we should honor what's been done in the past, but moving forward, we're gonna put pen to paper and needle out some future agreements.
Yeah.
So,
You ready for a motion?
sure.
Make a motion that we pay which would be this is our half, or this is the total?
That's the total, so our half would be.
Oh, we would pay our portion of the claim from BVPS for siren maintenance that's been done. Probably be in the range of about 12,700 or something like that, 12,700. That's not an exact number, but it's close.
50% of whatever.
50% of the billed amount from the city.
Do we have a motion
Second.
and a second? Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hughley.
Aye.
Weeds.
Aye.
Reds.
All right.
Aye. Good to see you up and going, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'll make sure to get that invoice in for next week.
Super, thank you.
I know I should have it right.
Yeah.
Brandon, when we start this talking process, planning process, you'll be a part of it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Okay, next agenda item is to discuss and consider wind and hail coverage. Mr. Tana Pertera. Please introduce yourself, sign in, and tell us what's up.
Good morning, Tanner Patera with Hub Insurance here in North Platte.
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Just as a kind of a recap, last year we made the decision to do a short-term wind hail. So just as a reminder, this county, I mean, just like every large property risk we're seeing in the Midwest, has been, I mean, essentially forced to take a percentage wind hail deductible. So currently our wind hail deductible is 3%, which is, I mean, a total exposure based on the current property blanket of about 2.1 million would be the, if we had a tornado come through, that would be the full exposure. And then Travelers, the current property carrier, would pick up the rest. So what we did when we went to this a couple years ago is we did what's called a buy down policy. So, I mean, it basically pays the difference between what Travelers deductible is and whatever number we come to. So what we did in the past is we just, instead of being 3%, we went to 1%, because 1% currently is about 680,000, which we, I mean, looking back at the property claim history, we have not had a wind hail claim over $10,000 and at well over 10 years as far as I'm aware. I mean, so when you think about wind hail, I mean, the policies all have in place now too, a cosmetic wind hail. So on the metal buildings, like a lot of the county buildings, the little cosmetic hail, just like we have on outbuildings for much of the farmers and ranchers community, they don't pay for the little dings. I mean, they did a long time ago, and then they figured out, hey, why are we paying guys $200-some thousand that they're not gonna fix it? So the policy itself would only pay for structural damage, which in western Nebraska, we've only had a severe, massive hailstorm that's caused structural damage to metal in large commercial buildings, and that was last summer in Cozad and Gothenburg, where that was a terrible hailstorm. I mean, they lost, if you had a window on the north side of your house, it was gone. So, which is, I mean, it's one of those, hey, it's once every 50, 100 years, we get those really bad hailstorms. So what we did last year, instead of paying the full year, which would have been, I can't remember, I don't have the exact figures, but it was 70, 80,000. I found a mechanism that we could do a short-term policy. Because after my research, we looked at tornado, I mean, the tornado reports over the last 50 years, there's been 1 in December in Lincoln County, and I think 0 in January, or it might be vice versa. So it's very, I mean, we understand how weather works, and it's very low risk in the winter months. So, I mean, we took on a little risk, I guess, and it worked out just fine. It saved us some money. So what you have in front of us now is a new short-term policy to cover us from April 1st to October 1st, which is the major wind hail season. I mean, obviously we know we have wind all the time. We've had pretty major winds in the last couple weeks. So, but we're getting into the season of bad hail and tornadoes. So we can do a short-term policy again. I also, I mean, put in the notes what the total premium is if we did a full year policy and then we didn't have to sit down and review it again. It's up to you guys. The short term for the 6 month is the 45,666. If we went to a full 12-month term, it would be 87 on the current rates that apply. Rates on wind hail, just like property, keep going up. I mean, because of, I mean, the frequency of storms. Nebraska had a really bad, year last year. If you look at wind and hail, we had the multiple tornadoes. In Omaha, we had hail. In Lincoln, we had the bad hail in Gothenburg and Cozad. Or the major storms. So you're talking, I think the Omaha events were over $1 billion in damage is what they're forecasting. And I don't know how many, the Cozad Gothenburg was hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know the exact numbers on that they were forecasting. So, I bring to you the option if we want to continue the buy down to protect the reserve if something terrible would happen. We don't have to do this policy. You just have to know that, basically with a wind and hail event, we're underwriting the first 2 million at that point, for round numbers, if that makes sense.
And what was the time? This was from April to October?
Yes, April to October, which we could do April. I just did a 6 month, but we could actually do April to November if we wanted to, because they'll just add a rate based on a 7 month versus a 6 month term.
But when we looked at that curve, it was pretty clear.
It's pretty clear. There's been a handful. You think about in my 20-some years of doing insurance in Nebraska, there was, a long time ago, a tornado in Gothenburg in late March. Those are probably 10, 15 years ago. It was just rural areas, but that's the only, it hails, it can hail anytime. It hailed in Kearney one year on Christmas. It wasn't anything that didn't do anything but damage vehicles, but the severe stuff that we're worried about with the, basically, we have very few asphalt roofs. on the county, and we're, I mean, essentially self-insuring those. I mean, we're looking at the major structures which would take, I mean, 100-mile-an-hour plus winds to do any significant damage. And we did have a 100-mile-an-hour event last June in North Platte, and the buildings turned out just fine. I mean, that doesn't mean it can't happen tomorrow, but I think the short term for right now, if they're willing to do it, is a potential savings on cost. I think what you're seeing is there's becoming fewer carriers that are willing to consider it because they want the money for the full year. So.
When the risk is low.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the rate's not, I mean, they're obviously, if you look at the full year, they're basing the rate on the summer season. I mean, that's what they're basing it on. So, I mean, any questions or a recap? I mean, that's what we did last year. I figured last year for the 3-month, it was about 23,000 was what the rate was for that 3-month period. Because we did 8/1 just to get us through October last year. I mean, they'll let us do a 7-month, I believe, but I just did 6 months now. I mean, it's whatever you guys kind of feel comfortable with on that. I mean, we can go back. I mean, I know this is kind of a little bit of a pain to budget because we're off, budget cycle. But, I mean, we are potentially, if we just go with the 6-month, you're saving $40,000. So, but you are taking on more risk. I mean, that's all insurance.
There you go. I was gonna say, we're saving it, but we have to, it's sort of what you pay for.
Shifting.
We agreed.
Shifting risk.
We agreed before when we looked at that, the risk factors in the different months, that it was a good buy for the dollar. I haven't changed my mind. I still think it is.
It's an educated decision.
I mean, it's a calculated shifting of the risk.
Correct. Or you could.
And while at the same time keeping the taxpayers in mind.
Yes. I mean, educating, we want to make sure we're being the most frugal we can with the cost, but we also don't want to push. I know the reserve could absorb a large claim like we kind of talked about, but 40 grand if you can, basically if you look at it, you're paying 40 grand for the potential to get 1.3. I think it's scheduled in there to buy that down. So, in Nebraska, that's, especially for the summer season, it's not a bad thought. I do have other clients that are at the point where, depending on the building makeup of the buildings, they're fine with taking on the full risk because it's very, very low. And you're also talking about $1 million building versus, we're talking 60, I can't remember the exact blanket amount, but $50 million potentially if North Platte gets scraped like a Joplin. That's our biggest exposure.
From my standpoint, it's one thing, and I'm not minimizing the importance of protecting, like the emergency management building.
Mm-hmm.
That's far different than the Lincoln County Courthouse.
Yeah, the courthouse and the jail are
Exactly.
85% of our blanket. 80%. So we're talking about these two major structures.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Colleagues, any questions for Tanner?
Well, that was kind of our
Strategy moving forward.
strategy. Thank you,
Mhm.
Tanner. Last year for budgeting, and I kind of reiterate Joe's point, we're looking at the risk curve, and we're covering the high risk portion of the curve in pursuing this, and this is kind of where we were at budget time, if I recall.
Yeah.
So I think we're consistent if we move forward. Yeah.
Okay, so,
Is that a motion?
you want to put that into form of a, looks like you got somebody anxious to give a second here.
Okay, so is this number on the front page?
Yeah, that is the current number, the 45,666.
It would be my motion to contract risk coverage as presented by Tanner on a wind deductible buyback policy for the months April 1st to October 1st, and the amount expended is $45,666.82.
I'd second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Weems.
Aye.
Bruns.
Aye.
Hughley.
Aye.
Woodruff.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much
Tanner.
for your work on that, Tanner. Appreciate it.
I'll get you everything I need signed. It's just a couple things.
Anything to sign today on that?
No, I mean, I need to double check. I'm 100% sure there's one form we need signed on the terrorism rejection. But I can't, I think there might be one other form, Ken, or Jerry, sorry, that I might need, so I'll just get that and get it over.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You guys have a great day.
You bet.
Tanner.
Is there need for a closed session today, sir?
Yeah, I do, but you can take committee reports and.
Okay, let's hear from elected officials, department heads, or their representatives.
Public.
And or the public. Brandon, looks like you're up first.
I'll just give you guys an update about Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Interstate closure and all that fun.
The blizzard out east.
So, we had massive storm move through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We were actually projected to get a lot more snow from it. I kinda wish we did, we need the moisture, but we got a little dusting. Everything hit out east of us bad, which closed the interstate early morning Wednesday. Started with a Lincoln Grand Island closure. To the west, it just progressively moved back. Hit Kearney, hit Lexington. Finally, about 10:30, 11 o'clock, the closure going eastbound from North Platte was closed
On Wednesday morning.
on Wednesday morning. So that's when we started parking trucks. Pretty much myself and some state patrol. Periodically, I had sheriff and PD when they were available to come out and do a little bit, but they were short. They all had a bunch of training that day. Overall, I'd say we probably moved the closure mid-afternoon, late afternoon to Ogallala. So it's probably about between 4 and 5 is when we pushed for that closure to move. We had, not counting what the two major truck stations are, Love's and Flying J, they can hold about 250 trucks. We probably had close to another 300 trucks that we parked in various places, including Walker and Victoria Lane.
Brandon, I mean, we all understand why there's a rolling closure that moves down the interstate, but there may be people watching online via the stream that don't understand. Can you just explain?
Basically, the rolling closure, it starts from the place that's impacted. They move it far enough out so that people can get off the interstate and not be stuck or stranded in the impacted area. Once those areas start filling up between truck parking and hotels, then recommendations are put out to the State Department of Roads to move that closure to the next closing point. So that's pretty much all that happened. Yeah. And once it hit Ogallala, again, because Ogallala does not have the facilities to take on as much as we do, it didn't take long before that closure went from Ogallala to state line. And then basically it's Cheyenne that the closure's at in Wyoming.
And you know, it is hard for people to understand. I was out getting gas and people said, why in the world is it shut? There's not even any snow here on it.
Yeah,
And I said,
that's
"Yeah,
the
has
big
nothing to
thing
do
we
the
deal
weather
with out
guys
there,
here."
especially with the semi-drivers. What's going on? Why is
Yeah, they don't.
beyond our
understand.
control somewhere else? Yeah, it's a beautiful day here, but yeah, it's not so much down the line.
And I know, speaking to the choir here, but when they close the interstate, Highway 30 and East State Farm Road get quite a little bit of traffic.
Yes.
I can, if I'm at home, I can tell when the interstate.
When I finally realized that, yeah, we had enough trucks that were coming down Newberry and turning east onto State Farm, then we called our county roads, Jason, and got barricades up out there. Again, it was kind of as usual, the whole beginning of this is just a cluster. Because they all come off the interstate mad, then they all want to get gas and they can't get in, and yeah, so.
GPS in their cars, they all see their way around, so they end up in my neighborhood even.
Yeah, and they love their GPS. They'll follow GPS, and GPS will tell them all the bad ways to go too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they took
That's funny.
some joker took his semi van body north of Brady, and he ran out of oil, And they ran into the sand hills, and they almost made it to the Garfield table.
Yeah,
Not this one, but last season. And, yeah, they're bound and determined they're gonna get around, and
well, we had a bunch of them saying, well, we just want to go south on 83 to Kansas. I'm enough that I monitor Kansas as well when we have these events, and I'm telling them, Kansas is completely closed.
Yeah,
All the
they were
highways and
worse.
interstates are all closed
they were
off.
worse. All you gotta do is get it up on your phone, you can
Yeah.
see.
So, we try and educate them as we're moving them around that you need to look at these things and make those determinations, but, yeah.
Okay, well, it's, I know it's a thankless job, and I'm sure Jason sees the same thing as far as putting the barricades up on roads that look
Yeah.
like they're perfectly
Yeah, 'cause they can
fine,
make a
but
loop.
we appreciate the hard work that you do to try to help people help themselves.
Yep. So, that's all I had, just that
Okay.
kind of update, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Any other department heads? Jason, anything from you? Okay, anything from the public? Okay, Lincoln County Commissioners Committee reports.
I mean, we talked about our ad hoc committee. Trying to think if I have anything else.
Oh, talking about committee though, I do need to talk to you later after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so that'll maybe be a report next week. Okay, anything else? Okay, do we have need for a closed session, sir?
If someone would take us into closed session for both pending and imminent litigation.
Mr. Vice Chair, I move that we go into executive session with regard to pending and imminent litigation at 10:46.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Prince,
Aye.
Hughley,
I
Weems,
Aye.
Woodruff.
Aye. So at 10:47, we will go into closed session to discuss strategy with respect to pending or imminent litigation.
Who stays in?
And who stays in the room besides the four of us and you, Tyler?
That's it.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners? You have anything, Becky?
No,
How about you?
I'm good today, thank you.
Sure you don't have? No.
Thank you for signing those papers. I'm gonna say that.
Okay, so at 10:59, we will adjourn.
Okay.
Christopher, you want to step in my office?
Sure.